is very important. In this type of addition reactions or addition polymerization, it is very difficult to control the rate of reaction. So, one of the important steps in this reaction is termination of the reaction. So, you have to terminate a reactive site. So, depending on the requirement, one can terminate a reactive site and obtain a polymer of desired molecular weight. So, if you want low molecular weight polymer, you can terminate the reaction in the initial stages. If you want to allow the polymerization to proceed further, and if you want to have higher molecular weight reactions polymers, you can continue with the reaction for longer durations. So, that is about the addition polymerization. So, obviously, the molecular weight of a polymer is decided by these two factors, that is the rate at which a polymerization reaction propagates and the rate at which it is getting terminated. Now, there are different types of addition polymerization, namely anionic polymerization, radical polymerization and cationic polymerization. So, as the name suggests, in case of radical polymerization, you have a free radical which is being responsible for the polymerization of a monomer, whereas in case of an anionic and a cationic, you have nucleophilic as well as the electrophilic reactions taking place. Now, let us discuss about step growth polymerization. So, as discussed earlier, you have monomer shown here in two different colors, a slightly bluish colored monomer and a reddish colored monomer. Now, in stage 1, the monomers will react with each other and form smaller low molecular weight chains, also known as the oligomers. Now, once these oligomers or the short chain polymers are formed or fragments are formed, they will further react with each other to form a slightly higher molecular weight polymer, and further this higher molecular weight fragments will combine together to form a high molecular weight polymer. So, obviously, as this is a stepwise process, the polymer does not form till you reach the end of the reaction, or in other words, high molecular weight polymer is obtained only once you have a very high conversion of monomers, and that is generally towards the end of the reaction or the later stages of the reaction. And obviously, if you look at this graph here, the polymer molecular weight is pretty much dependent on the percentage of this fraction conversion of these oligomers. Now, let us discuss some of the polymers individually. How is nylon 6,6 formed? You have, as discussed here, you have adipoyl chloride as the monomer, or you can also have adipic acid as a monomer, and it is reacted with 1,6-diaminohexane. In presence of sodium hydroxide, you have this amino linkage, and this resulting into a nylon 6,6. Now, this reaction takes place between the two monomers which do not react or do not mix readily. The reaction takes place at the phase boundary. So, in order to have an efficient reaction, you have to remove the layer of polymer that is formed, otherwise the reaction will not proceed. So, in order to have an efficient reaction, you have to continuously remove the polymer which is formed at the interface. So, you have an aqueous layer at the top and an organic layer at the bottom depending on the density. These two, if you can see here, there is a clear cut phase interface which is separating these two, and the nylon 6,6 as depicted here is formed at this interface. This has to be removed continuously so that you have more efficient reaction. and it is a very simple yet an efficient technique to form an important polymer, that is nylon 6,6. So that was about one of the important polymer, that is nylon 6,6. Now molecular weight of polymers is a very typical or a unique feature. As discussed earlier also, unlike small molecular weight compounds, polymers do not have low molecular weight or a fixed molecular weight. For example, a compound like benzoic acid or a compound like oxalic acid, or a low molecular weight compound, say oxalic acid, along with the water of crystallization, the molecular weight is known, 126 grams per mole. Whereas in case of polymers, you cannot have a fixed molecular weight. So in case of polymers, molecular weight is always mentioned in terms of average molecular weight. So it is very difficult to have or to claim, or one cannot claim that a molecular weight of a polymer is a fixed value. It is more or less an average value. So there are various methods to determine or evaluate the molecular weight of a polymer. One of the important techniques is size exclusion chromatography, or also known as the gel permeation chromatography or GPC. Very simplest of the techniques or the physical properties which can be done in the laboratory. Viscosity. So how do you measure the molecular weight, or what are different types of molecular weight? One of the important types of molecular weight is known as a number average molecular weight. It is abbreviated, or the notation that is used is Mn, whereas you have a weight average molecular weight of a polymer, or MW or MW bar. You can also have a viscosity average molecular weight. So in case of a number average molecular weight, or Mn, the total weight of all chains divided by the number of chains is taken into consideration, whereas in case of weight average molecular weight, you have a weighted average of the polymer chains, whereas in case of viscosity average molecular weight, you have the average that is determined by the viscosity measurements. So obviously each and every method gives you different type of values for the molecular weight, but in general the viscosity average molecular weight is closer to the weight average molecular weight than the number average molecular weight. So you have a distribution of molecular weight, a typical bell-shaped distribution, and as you can see, on an average, the number average molecular weight is there in the center. So how do you calculate that, the number average molecular weight? Say for example, if you have a polymer sample where there are multiple chains, so there are 2 chains of 1 million Dalton, there are 5 chains of 700,000 Daltons, there are 10 chains of around 400,000 Dalton, there are 4 chains of around 100,000 Daltons, and 2 chains of 50,000 Dalton. So if you want to arrive at the average weight, obviously you have to multiply the number of chains into the weight of each molecular weight of each chain. So the weight for the 2 chains having 1 million Dalton weight would be 2 million Dalton. So the average that you have is 10 million Dalton. 10 million Dalton is the average weight, that is also known as the true average weight. This 10 million Dalton, if you divide by the total number of polymer chain, which if you calculate out from the left hand side comes out to be 23 in this case, the molecular weight, or in real sense the number average molecular weight, comes out to be 4,35,000 Daltons. Whereas in case of weight average molecular weight, you have to take a weighted average. So here the average molecular weight of the most abundant polymer fraction by weight matters a lot. In this case, the polymer molecular weight or the fraction polymer chain having 1 million Dalton molecular weight contributes maximum to the resulting polymer molecular weight, and obviously you have 6,09,500 as the molecular weight that you arrive from the weight average molecular weight. So they are different from each other. Now let us discuss polymer microstructure. There are different types of microstructures which can result by the reactions that take place in case of a polymer. Let us take a simple example of a polyolefin. If a polyolefin has a asymmetric carbon or a chiral carbon, there will be, if there are multiple asymmetric carbons, there will be many stereocenters on each carbon. When you have so many stereocarbons, the stereochemistry is quite complex and the number of resultant products will be manifold. There are three broad classifications or stereo classifications to be specific for polymers. The first class is known as atactic, or it represents a random orientation. In this case, the stereocenters are randomly situated along the polymer chain. The second class is isotactic. In case of an isotactic polymer, the stereocenters have similar orientation, whereas in case of a syndiotactic polymer, the arrangement is alternating, which means the stereocenters are at alternate positions. So obviously, if you have the random orientation, it is known as an atactic polymer. If you have similar orientation, you have isotactic polymer. If you have alternating stereochemistry, it is known as syndiotactic polymer. Now, how to determine a microstructure, and one of the important techniques which is a very powerful tool to determine the microstructure of a polymer is carbon 13 nuclear magnetic resonance. Now here this carbon 13 NMR shift of this particular carbon here is highly sensitive to the stereocenters on the either sides. So this particular this type of resolution, which can be precisely determined at greater than 300 megahertz, is known as a pentad resolution. This typical resolution of an atactic polypropylene is mentioned here. So you have a carbon 13 NMR spectrum for an atactic polypropylene, and one can see that there is a distinct enhancement in this particular peak here, and this is a characteristic of a clear cut microstructure of a carbon which is situated on either sides of two stereocenters. Why this syndioticity, isotacticity, or the atacticity or the microstructure important? This affects the physical properties. Now in case of atactic polymers, they are generally found to be amorphous, they are soft, flexible material. So depending on our need, we may go for an atactic polymer if you want to have a polymer which is more flexible. But if you want to have very high density, if you have an high density polymers where the polymers should be harder, sturdier and less flexible, isotactic and syndiotactic polymers would be preferred. So for example, polypropylene is an important example of this type of microstructure taking care of various physical properties. Atactic polypropylene is a very low melting polymer and a very gooey type of material which is amorphous and quite flexible, whereas isotactic polypropylene is high melting, crystalline, tough material and important industrially. But in case of a syndiotactic polypropylene, though it has properties which are similar to that of isotactic, it is very clear but a very difficult type of polymer to synthesize. So let us discuss about polymers. They are also known as macromolecules. So the question that arises is, what is a polymer? So polymer is a abbreviation of two terms, that is poly means many and mer means units. So polymers are generally high molecular weight molecules made up of small repeating unit. So this repeating unit is known as a monomer. So in this case, A is a small molecule which is getting repeated, so the A is a monomer. So what are monomers as such? Monomer is a low molecular weight compound that can be connected obviously via a covalent bond to give or to result into a polymer. If you have very few monomers which are connected via covalent bond, you have a low molecular weight polymer. This type of polymers are known as oligomers because the polymer chain is shorter in this case. Polymers can be made up of same type of monomers or can be of different types of monomers. There is a term that is copolymer. A copolymer is made up of two or more monomers, and the copolymer can be classified into three different types, that is a random copolymer, alternating copolymer and a block copolymer. So what do we understand by random copolymer? Here A is a monomer and the another monomer is B. In case of random copolymer, if you have a single unit of A, not necessarily the next will be B. There may be more than one unit of B, or there may be more than one unit of A, and this repeating pattern may go on randomly. Whereas in case of an alternating polymer, you have a more organized or a more ordered arrangement. You have monomer unit A followed by a monomer unit B followed by a monomer unit A, and so on and so forth. So you have alternative monomer units one after the other. Whereas in case of block copolymer, you have multiple numbers of monomer A connected with each other, followed by multiple number of monomers of molecule B connected with each other, and this type of blocks of monomers are being connected to each other in case of a block copolymer. So let us discuss the broad classification of polymers. Polymers as classified as thermoset, thermoplastics, elastomers, thermoplastic elastomers. Broadly, there can be two sets of classifications or two general classification terms, that is thermoset and a thermoplastic. A thermoset is a cross-linking polymer which cannot be melted in real sense. Say for example tires, rubber bands, etc. Whereas in case of a thermoplastic, you can mold the polymer just like you melt a compound. There is another class, that is elastomers. These elastomers, obviously the term itself is defining it, it has got some sort of elasticity. In this type of polymers, the polymers can stretch and then return to their original form. So they can regain their original form. So there is a change in the shape and dimensions, but upon the release of the stress, there is regain of the original form of the polymer. So this type of polymers are known as elastomers. Most often thermoset polymers show this elastomer property. There is another terminology, that is thermoelastic polymers. These are elastic polymers that can be melted. Say for example, sole of a tennis shoe. Now, what is the other way of classifying a polymer? Polymers are also classified on the basis of the monomer or the repeating unit from which they are made. Say for example, if you have an alkene or an olefin, if you connect these olefins by covalent bonding from olefin monomer, you have polyolefins, you have polyesters. So you have an alcohol and an acid reacting to form an ester. You can have amides, so you can have polyamides, you can have a polyurethane. So depending on the type of monomers, or sometimes even on the type of reaction or the linkages that are formed, like the ester linkage, amide linkage, urethane linkage, or on the basis of the functional group, polymers can be classified. More importantly, nature has its own macromolecules, or also known as the biomolecules, or in terms of the chemical sense, the polymers. So the natural polymers, the examples are polysaccharides, deoxyribonucleic acid, proteins, etc. So let us focus on the polyolefins. So as discussed, they are generally made up by covalent bond connections of multiple alkene units. So if you have a monomer which is ethylene, it will undergo polymerization to form a polyethylene. Similarly, if you have propylene, you will get a polypropylene. If you have an aromatic linkage to an alkene, say for example a styrene, you can form polystyrene, and you can have very nice glass like shiny crystals of polystyrene. If you have vinyl chloride as a monomer, you can have polyvinyl chloride, PVC, which is a common plastics, and even in this room you can have the PVC pipes visible, which are used by the electricians. If you have tetrafluoroethylene in the household, the non-stick cookwares or the utensils like a non-stick pan, it is the coating which is mentioned. If you observe the pan or the utensil carefully, you will come across that the coating diameter is mentioned in some units. So that coating is nothing but a polymer, that is polytetrafluoroethylene, or the trade name Teflon, and this Teflon has high antipathy for water, or it is a water hating substance, and that's why the food that does not stick on the vessel if it is fried on cooked on a vessel consisting of polytetrafluoroethylene. Similarly, you can have polyesters, polyamides, also polyaramides, or also known as aramides. So a very common example of an polyester, which is quite important as a fabric. The monomer in this case on the left hand side is terephthalic acid. Upon reaction with ethylene glycol, you have formation of a polyethylene terephthalate, or commonly known as a polyester. A very common polymer which is important in the industry is nylon 6,6. The monomers, or the starting material or the raw material for during the formation of nylon 6,6 is adipic acid and 1,6-diaminohexane. So you have an addition reaction forming an amide linkage resulting in nylon 6,6. Then you might have come across the bulletproof jackets or the armor which are quite common in the defense industry. Now these jackets are made up of a very high molecular weight polymer, that is Kevlar. The common name for such polymers which are used in the bulletproof jackets is Kevlar, but basically they are polyamides or basic aromatic amides, also known as aramides, and Kevlar can withstand a very high impact, even that of a bullet coming from a gun. Similarly, you have NHC double bond O double O linkage, that is polyurethane linkage, and polyurethanes are quite common in the field of composites or adhesives, and also in the field of polyurethane foams or the mattresses, the modern mattresses which are made up of polyurethane foams. Natural polymers. A natural rubber, the repeating unit or the monomer in this case is isoprene. Upon polymerization, what you form is a polyisoprene. So natural rubber can also be polymerized into a polyisoprene. Similarly, a common sugar, that is glucose or beta D glucose, you can have a polymer that is formed from the reaction of multiple units of glucose, that is cellulose, which is a naturally available polymer. Similarly, you have a protein. Protein is nothing but a polymer made up of several small units which are amino acids, and these are connected by the C double bond O NH linkage. And more importantly, in the cells you have nucleotide, and these nucleotides are very important as far as the body functions are concerned. You have deoxyribonucleic acid, which is formed from polymerization of various nucleotides, which basically the nucleotides are obviously formed from amino acids. So if you really want to go about the sequence, amino acid reacts to form a nucleotide, and then these nucleotides then continue to form the deoxyribonucleic acid. So why are polymers unique? What makes them different from the other simple low molecular weight compounds? As discussed earlier, polymers have high molecular weight. They are also known as macromolecules. Because of this high molecular weight, they have properties much different than the normal low molecular weight. One of the important phenomenon is the chain entanglement. Polymers, these chains, upon heating, the polymer will not straight away melt, or it will not immediately melt, but when you heat a polymer sample, before melting, the chains start to get disentangled. Because of that disentanglement, the polymer starts to flow, but it will